We are live. Hello there. Whether you are live or on the replay, thank you for joining me. I just finished flipping through the brand new updated course set. If you want to check that out, it will be linked in the description box for you. Right now, I really want to go through the two and kind of compare the differences. Did anything stick around from the old version to the new version? You can see first off that they're very similar in design as far as like the cover goes and the colors, but we have some updated features to the design and definitely a difference in binding, which you can see how the abuse of a school year went with this kind of binding. And then there's this new binding that they're trying out in the book. With the fluff of having been used, this book is actually bigger. So that is interesting. So as far as what it covers here, we had literature in the old one. It's over here. Grammar and usage. We have grammar and punctuation. Punctuation, still there. Art, geography, spelling, vocabulary. It's not listed, but it is covered. And writing. So here we have reading, and vocabulary is actually covered in the reading, which I have covered in the flip through. I don't know if we'll talk about it here. But honestly, as far as I'm not sure if we're going to love the lay flat binding. We really did not love this kind of binding. I really would prefer just a continual spiral, and maybe I should have got some continual spiral and just re-spiraled this, but that may be something to consider with other spiral binding. This is not our favorite spiral binding, but I'm not sure how I feel about this yet. So getting into it, let's see, 3rd edition, 4th edition, but this is also like, not only is it a 4th edition, it's just like a new style going in. So we've got how this edition differs from past editions, items needed for the course. Oh goodness, that's not going to go. We'll have to figure that out later. Okay, so let's check out items needed. You have your course set, which I don't think it talks here. We had a 3-ring binder, my book of stories and writing, and that is not needed here, which I love. Having anything extra, I mean, it makes sense. It's totally fine, but I love that they have like minimized that in these newer versions. Makes such a big difference. Okay, so always have on hand thin tipped markers, any kind, 20 plus colors. Because that's the art medium used for this course. Here, I don't think they talked about right here, thin tipped markers. They were the same thing. Okay, pencil. Sure, that's probably just included scissors, glue stick, tape, timing device such as a timer, personal reading books at their level, and so on. So here they had 3x5 index cards, which we don't need, dry erase marker, which we don't need, and then personal whiteboard or spelling for spelling dictation. We don't need that, which I love. Writing journal, don't need that. Highlighter. Let's see. That I did think maybe I didn't see that. There's not a highlighter in this one. Okay. And then here's extra items needed. Just a whole list of them. And here we have it by unit. Mango flavored snacks, rolls, oat cakes, supplies, and toppings, which they tell you what page to go to for that. Sheet of color for construction paper. So if at any point like you don't have these items, go to that page and see if it's an activity you're actually going to do before you purchase them. And then we have here, no, we'll kind of skip that about this course. Here's the overview. Preschool through level 3 courses focus heavily on phonics and reading and require one-on-one time with a parent or teacher each day. 4 and above are designed to be mainly self-directed by the student, which is true. Let's see. I believe that's pretty similar in here. We did not do the old version of level 4, so I can't speak to that. We've only done the old versions of 1 through 3, and they were very parent-led. Let's see. Phonics and reading. At the beginning of most lessons, you will be directed to read together with the child in one of the phonics reading together Books that are integrated with the course. These books contain almost all of the phonics instruction for the course. Even if you have an advanced reader, we highly recommend not skipping these books. Even advanced readers need to learn the skill of slowing down and decoding the words, not just skipping over them in their minds as they read. In addition, read together books allow you to determine if there are any holes in the child's phonics foundation, as phonics instruction ends after level 3. Advanced readers really are likely to go through the books quickly and will benefit from the powerful messages, model writing, and one-on-one time with you. So it is tied to the course in the sense of it's the phonics teachings, but it's not actually tied to the course as in like after you read that chapter, there will be something to do in the lesson with it, which I like because then that correlates with the reading program that they've pulled out of K through 2, where you just kind of go at your pace. You can go at your pace. Okay, and then this had in an individual reader, let's see. Oh goodness, this is not going to be good. Let's see. Oh, it's because I have that in the wrong spot. Okay, let's there we go. I'm telling you guys, this binding is not my friend. Okay. Dictating words, making it work for multiple children. It does not talk about the reader in here. Okay. So if we keep going, we have talks about poetry memorization, a wonderful exercise for the young growing mind. Memorization also boosts confidence, increases focus and span. Okay, let's see. It just talks about like the importance of it. It doesn't necessarily talk about like whether or not you're going to be memorizing. Reading to the child has always been a thing. So at a glance here, level 3 at a glance, we've got art, literature, writing, and reading comprehension all in one. And here we have writing, art, and literature over here. So there's just, let's see, how can we, artist, Edmund Alder, artist, we don't have Edmund Alder in there, so we're covering different artists than in the previous version. Creative writing, let's see, creating an interest in introducing openings, plot outlines, personality traits, using good discretion. This is a little harder to work through, but they have differences. This is not an easy comparison. Sorry. Let's see if we can. I know that they have geography here. Spotlights on North America and Europe, names and locations in North American and European countries. Here we have specifically Alaska, cardinal directions, children's local geography, countries studied, a whole list of them here, which are not just North America and Europe. Culture, Earth's physical systems, ecosystems. There's all kinds of stuff going on in there. We're here. So there's a lot more going on with the geography versus just that, which is awesome. That's cool that they're going into it so much. And then as far as the, reading, phonics, and spelling. Phonics principles, you can see that these are basically what the flashcards were in the previous program. They had the flashcards and they would say ER can say air and ear, air and ear, or GUE can say G. So argue kind of thing, that kind of stuff. Those were on the phonics cards, and now here they have the phonics principles, which we find in the books. So we have that, reading and spelling. Let's see, where's spelling? we'll see in the here, this is what's covered in the spelling practice book. Here's the scope and sequence for each unit that you'll find in there. So it is done differently for sure. And then we have here, let's see, what else? Grammar, usage, and punctuation. A sentence has 3 things. So that one I wanted to look at. I'm pretty sure there were some similarities in there, but I think they might be more visible in the units. We have an acronym here, action and being verbs, capitalization, commas and addresses, dates and series. I know I saw that, commas and series, dates, different things in there. So they are teaching a lot of similar principles, all the same principles, but the approach is different and there's more going on in some areas and they've moved them around in other areas. You get past all the credits. And then the Unit 1 overview. Okay, gotta be careful how I do this. There goes the back cover. So very different visually. We have spelling here, including the spelling rules, level 2 review words, spelling patterns. In here we have targeted spelling words, spelling patterns, spelling rules, grammar, usage, and punctuation. Principles taught. A sentence needs 3 things. That's there. Adjectives, art appreciation and instruction, commas in a series are not in the first unit. They have, let's see, sentence diagramming is not. Sentence diagramming is here. So there is some subjects of a sentence. There are some similarities there. And then geography is not mentioned. And just telling you what it's going to cover there. And these items. And here's the phonics, reading, and vocabulary that will be covered in the book for this unit. All right, so if we look at a lesson, we have hopefully this is interesting and helpful for you. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments. I'm always happy to answer them. We have a basic here, have the child complete the course reading assessment in the appendix. And then here we have, there's not really a course reading assessment here. We're just kind of going into it. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we're just getting into it here. And then you're going to read, like this is talking about, like this is an introduction to the course. And this is just hopping right in. Complete chapter 1, complete the lesson with the child, and have the child complete the lesson practice section independently. So you do this portion with the child, just this, and they do this independently. And here you're doing all of this with the child and this with the child. And then they have, oh goodness, independent practice here. So wait, was that the same? It's the same image. Look at that. Okay, I don't know how my child's going to feel about that when I'm done with it. And then here you have independent practice done separately from that. So that's a lot of more independent led doing. You are going to talk to them, but there's a lot going on there for them to do independently. I'm not sure if that's going to be done all in one day for my kiddos' particular needs, but you might need to help the child with the first few independent work sections until the child gets used to doing them independently. So use the app, play this video optional. Optional, play this video in place of the lesson or after the lesson if the child could use you further help. So there's even sometimes a video to do for your portion. That's interesting. But that's kind of a view of the lessons. Here you had pretty consistently do all this with your kiddo and then independent practice. Do a whole page with your kiddo, independent practice. And then over here, you have do this with your kiddo, independent work. All the way through, geez. Do this with your kiddo, lesson practice, independent work. All the way through to that. Do this with your kiddo, poetry memorization, but that's independent. And this is all do it with your kiddo. So the amount of lesson practice, it seems, is not consistent in as far as like, it looks like it's an every other lesson thing. Lesson practice. I'm pretty sure this was in the previous one too. And then some more independent work. And then the next lesson is just lesson and lesson practice. Okay. And then the independent work. Broken up. Independent work. And then put together. So you got kind of a pattern going on there. And I think that might be tied to when we're using the spelling practice book, might be tying the lesson and lesson practice, because what they have you do in the spelling practice book is you do whatever it guides you through here, and then have your child finish what's left on the other side on their own. So they really are still doing lesson and lesson practice on their own. It's just in a different location. Okay. So let's take a look at what else can we compare. Let's look at like a unit review. So if we go to the color change, it's a little harder to see in the first two because it's like blue to green. It's still blue. Okay, we're going to go to a different one where it's a little easier to see. Okay, Unit 2 review. So now here, if we go to these, let's see if I can find what I'm looking for, since this one's filled out. Let's see here. Okay. So Unit 2 review, in the older version, you still have the child read the poems, quiz the child on the following, read to the child. It is still a lesson, so you do all this with the child and then independent work. And then you would have part 2, same thing, do this with the child, independent. Do this with child, independent. Part 3, and then you'd get into the next unit. In this one, you have the reading assessment built in right here, which I think in this one told you to go. Anytime that there's a reading assessment in this course, it would tell you to go to the appendix. I like that it's right here. Though in this, as the older level, I mean, going to the appendix is fine, but it's also awesome that it's right here. And then you will come back at lesson 118 and do it again so that you can still see their progress, which is really good. My kiddos really liked seeing their progress. So we have, oh, there's someone here. Got to be homeschool. Hello there. I love that they incorporate finger spelling as well. Yes, I have a kiddo who, actually a kiddo is using this. It tends to be nonverbal. So we have brought in finger spelling a lot. So it's really cool to be actually, they get excited when they see it in their book that they're having them finger spell. We use that one a lot just in general. So doing the reading assessment here, there is a note here that you will be guided to repeat the passage again. And then you hop in here, and instead of doing a lesson with them, you are having them do it on their own, I think. Let's see. The child should complete only the exercises with a purple header. So this is an independent review. You're not like doing a lesson with them and then having them do independent work. You're doing the reading assessment with them And then they're going to go through and do just the purple, which one bit of feedback I've had from my kiddo is that sometimes when they do the additional practice, it kind of gives away the concept. If they don't really know it, looking at the additional practice can sometimes give away the concept. So maybe covering that for your kiddo somehow, I'm not sure how. Maybe if you like fold it over and only have them do that side and then, you know, something to cover up the additional practice so that you really know if they understand it or not before they figure it out based on the additional practice. I don't know if that's just mostly in math or if that's going to be the case in here, but that is some feedback that I've had from a kiddo of having them side by side. So here I'll have the kiddo do all the purple, and then as you correct it, it will walk you through when to check on the additional practice, and then you can go ahead and review that with your child. And in the answer key, if you can get this as a PDF, you don't have to buy the physical version, but if in the answer key, if you get to a unit review, let's go to the back where I know that there is one. If they're having trouble, it gives you where to refer to get them more help, which I think is awesome. So there's a unit assessment. There's the look at the lessons. I love that this book ends and that's it. And this one, let me very carefully do this. You have the whole appendix with, what do they call these? Sentence climbs, which we don't have in this other one that I can see. Challenging word climbs, spelling rules. Here's the sign language alphabet, which I mean could be helpful. But they had this whole appendix, and it's all just built into the lessons where you need it here. In this one, as far as like the final review, I mean, this is something that's completely new and different. This is part of that geography thing. It wasn't in there. I don't know if there are other. This is something that is not, I don't remember seeing in level 3, having gone through that all. Oftentimes through this, if you'll get to the beginning of the unit or something, which I point out in the flip through, but you'll get to the beginning of the unit and I'll say, hey, you're going to study this author. Would you like to hear some other books from that author that might be good for a child to read, because they need to read independently for 20 minutes for every lesson. Or, you know, you could read them aloud with your kiddo. So let's see. I don't know if you have any questions on what differences are, whether you're live or on the replay. I mean, I still have the two, so you can ask those questions. But into the final review, we have a reading and spelling assessment. It's kind of work. This is in the spelling book. And then you have an art study with a narration, and then a writing, a summary, which in the answer key, I like how they'll just kind of give you tips on how to correct it when it's stuff like the writing thing. Like you'll see here, answers will vary. Here's some tips on how to correct it. So in the right here, it'll just kind of give you, that was probably the one that we were at, give you an example, but I like that it's a little more open. It guides you in that open-endedness. And then you'll have a assessment 2, which I believe go back to that spot, right? No, because you're reading it here. Let's see. This reading assessment was administered in lesson 60. Administer it again, and you can go back to that page and mark the progress so that page 196, you can see the progress. No. 98. So it is the same one, but it gives you the opportunity to write it down so that they can see their progress there in the comparison. But I love that they actually did bring it forward for you still. Let's see. So the layout for this is part of that. And then once again, you get units 1 through 3 review, which is do the purple, then come back to the yellow if needed. And then unit 4 review is the same as that. During reading assessment. And then you're done there. And a lot of it talks about being reviewed in upcoming courses, but there is a portion here in this one that talks about less 70 seconds or less with no more than 3 mistakes, and then move up to the level 4 language arts course. So there is a portion where it's like recommending have them at this level before moving up, but a lot of it says that they'll be reviewed in further courses just to firm up that spiral learning that they like. Let's see, what else can we talk about in comparisons to these? I'm just gonna leave that right there. Okay, we're just gonna not mess with that too much. The old version, let me see, I'll get the cover so you can at least see that. Okay, the old version came with a personal reader and a poetry book. So they're just poems. The new version does not come with a poetry book. Any poetry they're reading, it's right in the course book. And as far as the new version comes with 4 full-length books and the spelling practice book, which we touched on. That's how that comes with it. So as far as like the personal reader, it comes with all of these books in it, and it really is just those books in here with illustrations, and the child is just expected to read it on their own. I often like did a shared reader version with these personal readers with my kiddo because they are expected to read 20 minutes and all of that. I just usually had these be shared readers. So I love that these are like built-in shared readers. Let's see, what was I going to, so we have this size of font, and then farther in, you can see it's advancing a little bit as they go. On these ones, you have, this is your phonics program, right? So you have an introduction. I like that you have your little characters. Here's your table of contents of how many chapters are going to be just in this one book. Vocabulary words, challenging words, and then every chapter has a phonics section that you work with them on. This is kind of a longer one because it's the very first one. Phonics, and then there was vocabulary. I thought maybe not on this one. And then it tells you here, parent, teacher, read this. Student, read that. Oh, that's because this was the last book. I'm doing this out of order because of the flip through. Here's the first one. So we do chapter 1, talk about phonics, cover some vocabulary, and then the student reads this. The parent reads that. It's very well laid out because you can see that the text style is different, which can be really fun for that building of the story and how they do that. So that's how those are. Complete flip throughs again in the, well, like this kind of flip through because, you know, it's a whole book and we had gone through all the other ones. So you can see that their level is increasing in each book as you go along. The student is getting pretty close to the parent. So that's how their reading goes. I really like how they've set that up. And if we haven't met yet, hi there. I'm Elaine from On the Same Page Together. We are a Christ-centered home of learning, and on this channel, we talk about all things family. We like to share what works for us as we strive to encourage you on your journey in life and family. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I've linked the full flip through in the description box for you. There's also a comparison of level 2 in there, and probably in the language arts playlist that's linked. But check out my channel for any other flip throughs of the brand new K through 3 now with this one. I have Simply Good and Beautiful Math, K through 5, and I have all of the brand new science units that have the student journals and stuff. Those are all on my channel. So there's all kinds of stuff in there to check out when it comes to the Good and Beautiful's curriculum. In fact, I have a playlist linked in this description that is all of the Good and Beautiful's curriculum videos. And then I have a playlist with videos that are not from the Good and the Beautiful that we have curriculum that we have used, not from the Good and the Beautiful. So I hope this was helpful for you. Any questions, please drop them down in the comments. Video requests, if there are any, drop them down there. And I hope you have a great day, have a great summer as you're having fun with your kiddos and planning for next year. I'll talk to you later. Bye.